Hari Om Tat Sat Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Shubhubnishad Uvacha Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitru Vrataha Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Madhya Janupimam. Worshippers of the astral deities go to the deities. Ancestor worshippers go to the ancestors. Worshippers of the spirits go to the spirits. And my devotees come to me. The first brain thought that came into my brain about this verse was once I was speaking to someone about what they thought happened after death, the ever popular topic of life after death. And they shared what they thought, and then they asked me, they said, "Random, what do you believe?" And I dodged the question. I didn't dodge it. At the time, I recently had heard a phrase, a quote that said, "Whatever you believe happens after death. Wherever you believe you go, that is where you go." And I really liked it. I felt like a very diplomatic and nice concept. If you believe in heaven, then you can go to heaven. If you believe in some other paradise, you go to some other paradise. If you believe in oblivion, you go to oblivion. If you go to this god or that place, you go there. Everybody is happy. Maybe. Probably not. Anyway, that's the thought that came into my mind. I wasn't sure where I heard the phrase or the quote. However, when I opened chapter 9, verse 25 and read the meaning, I was like, "Wow, wait a minute, this isn't new to me. I've heard this somewhere before." And perhaps actually where I heard it was from someone quoting the Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. I don't know. However, when I read it in chapter 9, verse 25, a question did creep into my mind. And that question was, okay, it's all well and good with this diplomacy. Everyone gets to go where they want to go. But then how does that tie in with the law of karma and reincarnation, which is a pretty big deal and topic of discussion in the Bhagavad Gita? I know this for sure. It is a cornerstone in all Vedic teachings. So I did some digging around in my own brain and outside of my brain. Now, don't quote me on this, and I think this is one of those situations where we're starting midway. So we can verify as we go through each verse. But is my understanding that wherever you want to go is where you go? Maybe there is a selection of realms that you can go to. I don't know how many realms. If it's literally, I want to go to the top of a mountain, then you go to the top of the mountain, or a realm where there's just mountaintops. I don't know about that. Well, let's take heaven as an example. Let's say you believe in heaven and that is where you go. Then the law of karma comes in, because based on your karma that you built up throughout your life, your merit, that is what determines how long you spend in the afterlife, in heaven, which I imagine is a very nice place. So you go there based on your merit, you spend so much time there until your merit runs out, and then the law of reincarnation kicks in, and you head back to pay off your good and bad karma. So that made the three pieces fit together. The piece of the verse saying where you worship is where you go, the law of karma and reincarnation, all kind of fit together, at least in my mind. However, then I began to ponder the verse where he specifically says, worshippers of the deities go to the deities, worshippers of the ancestors go to the ancestors, and worshippers of the spirits go to the spirits, and worshippers of the supreme go to the supreme. So then I was wondering, what is worship? Let's say someone worships a god or a deity of some sort, and they remember them every couple of months at an auspicious occasion, an important event in life. They do some sort of ritual or ceremony or remembrance, and then for the rest of the time they completely forget about them. Is that worship? At the end of your life, can you be like, oh yes, I worshipped X, Y, or Z every couple of months, anytime there was an important part of their lives, someone was born, someone died, marriage, job, new car, new house, whatever it was, we did something in remembrance of my deity. Called upon their blessings for the moment, and even in hardship, I remembered them. Yeah, when I hit rock bottom, I remembered them then too. Is that worship? Another example, let's say one is a worshipper of the ancestors, some sort of ancestral knowledge passed down through the generation. They wake up every morning and they read the guidance, the wisdom, and teachings of their ancestors that say to go out and be a part of society and give your mind and heart to the welfare of those around you, your family, your friends, your society. Be kind, be happy, be peaceful. And then that person goes out and robs, steals, cheats, murders. Does that count as worship? Every day I got up every day without fail and I read my ancestral teaching. Every single day for my entire life I read their teachings. And then I went out to do my job as an assassin con artist. Is that worship? Real talk, that, at least to me, that doesn't ring true or ring as true worship. Now, I did hear a phrase that I quite liked, and that is, karma is worship. And I was like, okay, all right, let's dig into this a little bit. So karma, of course, is the law of action, reaction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, much like Newton said. And in the law of karma, good actions accumulate good karma and bad actions accumulate bad karma. Now, I did have some time ago a wait, what did you say? Huh? Moment when delving into the law of karma, where karma isn't simply generated from what you do, it's also generated from what you're thinking and what you're saying. So thoughts, words, and actions. And the reason I had like a whoa, wait a minute, or even my thoughts are generating karma. Alright then, in that case, I'm probably gonna have to get a handle on my thoughts, get them in order, get them in check, and keep them away from bad things. Because yes, I do think, at least for myself, I find it easier to stop myself from doing bad things. I'm like, yeah, no, maybe I shouldn't do this. Okay, I won't do this. Turn the other way, random, walk away. But to stop a stray thought going into my brain, that is a lot harder. Anyway, I digress. Karma is worship, and karma is thoughts, words, and actions. Therefore, I conclude that if one worships something or says they worship something, then your thoughts, words, and actions should align with the teachings, the guidance, the wisdom, the principles, the morals, and values of that deity, of that philosophy, of that ancestor, or whatever it is that person is worshipping. If one claims to worship something, whatever that something may be, then the key teachings, wisdom, is what should drive them, is what should motivate them, what guides them, and their life will reflect those key values, principles, and morals of that something. And an example that popped into my mind when I was pondering this particular part of my ponderings. So, a not insignificant amount of times I've witnessed a particular situation where I've been talking to someone and maybe I'll compliment some other person that we both know. I'll say, oh yeah, they're very principled, very grounded, very nice person, kind and friendly. And the other person will reply, yes, random. I agree with you. Yeah, they're into that one particular god, or they're into that philosophy, or they follow that ideology, or they follow the teachings of this person or that person. And they say it in a way that comes across that, yeah, they follow that, so of course they're like this. And that struck me as quite interesting that when someone is following a something, whether it be a deity, a teaching, a philosophy, an ideology, and how they are, their thoughts, words, and actions matches that something, that they are worshipping that something, then it seems enough for someone external to see them and say, oh, yes, I know why they're like this. I know why they're a kind person, why they're grounded, why they're considerate, is because they follow this something, because they worship this something. And when you look at that something, their teaching teaches to be kind, to be compassionate, to be grounded, to be humble, to be grateful. And then that explains everything. You're like, oh, okay, so now I know why they are, because they worship this. There doesn't seem to be any need for any further explanation. That completely encompasses everything that it seems to be relevant to know, that they have chosen to follow this path and they actually follow it in their thought, words, and actions, and so that reflects in how they are. Anyway, I am not entirely sure that was coherent. My not point here is an interpretation of this verse is not so much what you believe happens after death is what's going to happen, is where you're going to go, but as the verse actually says in its wording, that it is what you worship during your life that determines where you will end up going. And worship is karma, and karma is your very thoughts, words, and actions. And this brings me to my practical takeaway from this verse. If I take a moment at the end of the day, or even during the day, to reflect upon the happenings of said day, what thoughts are ruminated in my brain, what words I spoke to myself and to other people, what actions I undertook, with what intent, with what drive, with what motivation, with what reasoning and intent, then what does the sum of all this come to? What would I honestly say I have been worshipping this day? And based on this finding of what I've been worshipping this day, what or where is the most likely destination that I'd be heading to should I drop dead? at this very moment? And am I happy with this destination that I conclude I will be going to based on the worship of this day? Because I feel the last part of this verse is very important. Perhaps the most important is that if worshippers of the deities go to the celestial planes, to heaven, to the gods that they believe in, and they do stay there for as long as their merit lasts, and then by the law of karma and reincarnation, they are reincarnated once their merit runs out, and they come back to earth, the life. And the same for those that worship the ancestors. They go there until their merit runs out, and then they come back. And if you go to the spirit realm as you're a worshipper of them, then you go there for as long as your merit is there, and then you come back. Always, always, always coming back in a cycle. It feels like the last part is an assurance that worshippers of the Supreme will also go to the Supreme, who is beyond karma, who is beyond reincarnation. And so those that go to them have also attained a state of being that is beyond karma, that is beyond the need to reincarnate again and 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 again. And do I, upon reflecting upon this worship of the day, wish to change my trajectory, make a course alteration in my daily thoughts, words, and actions, in my karma, in my worship, to direct myself at a destination that I find more fulfilling and satisfying and liberating. Now you might be thinking, Random, you said earlier, I conclude, or in conclusion, or something to that effect, and you did not conclude, you're still rambling. Well, that may have been a simple misunderstanding. That was simply a conclusion to that pondering. However, this conclusion is a conclusion to the whole video and the entire pondering. My concluding pondering is this: if where you worship determines where you go after life, and if worship is karma, and if karma is thoughts, words, and actions of said person, then what do most people worship? I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. I did want to share a little thought experiment that I was running through my mind. Imagine a person waking up. They get up out of bed and they attend to their bodily needs, their bodily maintenance, brush their teeth, have a bath, get ready, eat breakfast. Then they go to work, 9 to 5. Drive here being for the accumulation of wealth so that they can pursue their hobbies, maintain their body, their family, the house, build a life, a living. Maybe they go to school instead, education, with the hope of getting the aforementioned career, 9 to 5. Then they head home, prepare some dinner, eat said dinner, again, bodily maintenance. Then to finish off the day, engage in some sort of hobby, maybe see a friend, go to the gym, read a book, watch some TV, whatever it is that they enjoy doing. A mixture of bodily maintenance and leisure. Repeat this 5 days a week. Come Saturday, Sunday, again, engaging in their leisure activities, maintaining their social standing, their social relationships, their family bonds, friends, hobbies, interests, spending that money that they've earned to buy things, possessions, attachments, holidays, adventures, and finally, at the end of each day, sleep. What does this person worship? If their focus and drive and motivation, the guiding force, if their thoughts, words, and actions are primarily or completely absorbed in worldly attachments, relationships, status, desires, and possessions, does this person not worship life, worldly life itself? And so my thought pondering came to, if those that worship the deities go to the deities, if those that worship the ancestors go to the ancestors, if those that worship the spirits and ghosts go to the spirits and ghosts, if those that worship the Supreme go to the Supreme, then those that worship worldly life, worldly attachments, relationships, possession, and desires go to